The Prime Minister of Israel is being asked here concerning the alarming settler violence taking place in the occupied West Bank. He's denying here that the settler violence against the Palestinians in the West Bank is being committed or carried out by violent illegal Israeli settlers. He says that the ones committing the violence there are thugs. They're just taken to the area to commit violence. They're kids or children or juvenile delinquents, and when they're taken to the courts, their cases are dismissed maybe because they're young, and they're not from the Israeli settlements. They're just thugs taken to the area to commit the violence against the Palestinians.
I really do want to ask one final question about what's going on the West Bank. Violent attacks by Israeli settlers against Palestinians. Over the weekend, Israeli settlers in the West Bank raided and set fire to a restaurant. We have some photos that we're showing. I know, and I've heard you say these are just thugs. But my question is, if they're just thugs, why won't or can't you stop them?
Well, we do actually. It's about 100. It's actually 100.
That's a good question. That's a very good question. If these so-called thugs are just numbering to about 150, do you think, um, given Israel's sophistication, technological sophistication, intel sophistication, do you think Israel won't be able to catch them? Um, if Israel is able to assassinate foreign leaders, leaders of other nations, and military generals with precision, uh, do you think Israel? Do you think it is believable to say that this Zionist regime is unable to catch and bring to account just 150 thugs operating within Israeli within an area illegally occupied by Israel, such as the West Bank?
150 or so, what you would call juvenile delinquents. They're not, by the way, from the settler community. It is actually 150 or so kids, teenagers usually, who are brought into.
So they're just about 150 thugs, kids, children. He calls them, he describes them as juvenile delinquents. Freaking liar, Prime Minister. You're a freaking liar. When you say juvenile, so that person must be under 18 years of age. So later, I'm gonna show some pictures of these illegal Israeli settlers, and let's see if they're indeed some freaking juveniles doing horrific things in the occupied West Bank.
The area there.
But you're
I
the
think,
Israeli government. You should be able
yeah,
to stop them, particularly given how much of an impact this is having globally on seeing.
Yeah, right. If you really want to stop them, you can really stop them. They're just 150 gang of thugs of kids and teenagers. You can really stop them. You can kill, assassinate, you can murder um, government leaders, political leaders, and military officials, high-ranking military officials of sovereign states. Oh, you can't catch a gang of 150 thugs of kids and teenagers, of juvenile delinquents, as you say.
This happening.
you're absolutely right that this is blown up beyond belief and causes a lot of damage. I think it's wrong on its own account. I don't want and don't accept vigilantism, and I don't care if it's.
No, what they're doing is not vigilantism. What they are doing is uh, they are uh, they are deliberately, intentionally committing settler violence against the Palestinians in the West Bank. They are like monsters. They're like monsters unleashed by the Zionist regime. And since they're commissioned to commit violence against the Palestinians in the occupied West Bank, they are afforded, they are given legal protection. That's why when their cases are brought to the courts, their cases are dismissed. Not because they are young, but because the courts understand that the regime, the Zionist regime in Israel, has is the one that has unleashed those monsters, and those monsters are given legal cover or legal protection.
comes from Arabs or Jews. Our citizens cannot practice violence against anyone.
Your citizens cannot practice violence against everyone. Your very Zionist regime is the most violent regime in the Milky Way galaxy. You have killed 73 since October 7, 2023. Data not yet included. Data before October 7, 2023 from 1967 or from 1948 not yet included. Just since October 7, 2023, you have killed at least 73,000 people in Gaza, and 21,000 of whom are children. Just since March 2, 2026, you have killed more than 4,000 people in Lebanon. So you talk about your citizens not being able to commit violence. Your government is violent, and your government is supported by your citizens, at least most of your citizens.
If we have to apply force, it's the law and order, it's the police and the military that has to do that, and therefore we take actions among them. But it's precisely because it's such a tightly knit group that acts according to. They try to skirt the law, and when we bring them to the courts, our courts are very lenient. I don't know why. Maybe because they're young, and I've said that we have.
No, the cases of the thugs are not dismissed by the courts because they are young. The reason their cases do not go through is because the courts understand that they are the monsters being unleashed by your regime, your Zionist, your genocidal, expansionist, brutal, barbaric Zionist regime.
Have to challenge that, and I will not. I don't accept it. But I want to put that in perspective. It's not the settler community, because the settler community can.
No. They are from the settler communities. Because if they are not settlers, if they're not from the settler communities, and they're just brought there in the West Bank to commit violence, to perpetrate violence against the Palestinians, to harass the Palestinians, kill the Palestinians, steal their cattle, steal their animals, and burn their cars and homes and properties, their farms, both Muslims and Christians in the West Bank, if they're not from the illegal Israeli settlements, then where are they from? They're from Jordan? They're from Syria? They're from Lebanon?
Condemns them. It's not the people of Israel, because we condemn them. It's not.
No, they are the people of Israel. They are your violent, illegal Israeli settlers from your illegal Israeli settlements. You lying. You lying. You're a freaking liar, Prime Minister. You're a freaking liar.
Not the government of Israel. It's a, I would say, a violation of basic norms of our country. We don't accept it. I don't accept it.
What basic norms are you talking about? You attack your neighbors. You kill your neighbors. You steal their lands to because you want their lands to you want to annex their lands to Greater Israel.
I saw the arrogance in the eyes of those settlers, 21 and 22-year-old.
And this is Congressman Ro Khanna, a U.S. Congressman from California, from the 17th Congressional District of California. He went to the West Bank, and um, he was detained for 90 minutes by the IDF and by very arrogant, armed Israeli settlers. He mentions that some of them may be in the age range of 21 or 22, in the age of 21 or 22, but 21 or 22 are no longer kids, no longer teenagers, no longer juvenile delinquents.
I saw the arrogance in the eyes of those settlers, 21 and 22-year-olds with guns, laughing that they had detained us.
Yeah, they are very arrogant because they claim that they are the chosen people of God. And since they're the chosen people of God, they feel that they are the most entitled and privileged people. They're the most special people in the world, and everyone else is Amalek.
The arrogance of those young IDF soldiers that my tax dollars are funding, having no respect for the fact that they were detaining Americans, no respect that there was an American congressperson in that bus, and laughing when our translator told them that there are Americans there and the American embassy is concerned. It is the arrogance of a power that has had no accountability, total impunity, and has created a
Total impunity because the US government provides Israel with limitless, relentless political and diplomatic cover and military support or logistical backing.
toxic culture of oppression.
Now, if the IDF and if the illegal settlers can do this to a U.S. congressman, imagine what they can do to the poor Palestinians in the occupied West Bank, and imagine they can do this to a U.S. congressman, despite the fact that Israel is able to survive only because it is enabled by the U.S. Without U.S. support, Israel is nothing. Israel would not survive. Now, look at this picture here. Israeli settler crimes against Palestinians rise 25% in 2025. This guy here with the long beard, this guy here is one of the violent, illegal Israeli settlers. Now, does he look like a kid or a teenager? Does he look like a juvenile? You think he's below 18 years of age? Look at him. He must be in his 50s or 60s. And another photo here, illegal, violent, illegal Israeli settlers wearing military uniform. Do they look like children or teenagers? Are they juveniles? Look at them. They look like military men. They look like grown adults. And this guy here, this guy here, does he look like a child or a teenager? And the guy here, and the guy here, and the guy at the back, the guys at the back, these guys here, do they look like children or teenagers? And they are backed when they perpetrate settler violence against the Palestinians in the occupied West Bank many times. Maybe not all the time, but many times. They are backed by either the IDF or by the border police. So this guy here, accompanying the violent settlers, this guy here is either a member of the IDF or of the border police. And another photo here, this guy here is another um, violent, illegal Israeli settler. And who is backing him? The IDF again, or the border police again. And another photo showing violent, illegal Israeli settlers together with their support system, the IDF or the border police. So the truth is that um, this is a design. This is an evil design by the Zionist regime to commit settler violence against the Palestinians in Gaza, and the aim is to expel them so that the Zionist regime can take their land and annex it to Greater Israel. And this is the U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Accordingly, he denounces settler violence. He denounces settler violence. But what kind of denunciation has he done so far? Has he done something concrete so that Israel would stop committing settler violence in the West Bank? No. His denunciation is by mere word of mouth only. U.S. Diplomat Marco Rubio denounces settler violence, but what kind of denunciation? Meaningful denunciation? No. Denunciation that would bring tangible results? No. Just word of mouth denunciation. Rubio says U.S. concerned by settler violence insists Israel will act against it. By the way, Rubio is admitting here that the violence being committed against the Palestinians in the occupied West Bank is committed, carried out, or perpetrated by settlers. Rubio has nowhere said that the violence being committed in the West Bank, the settler violence being committed in the West Bank, is not committed by settlers, but by some thugs, children or kids brought to the area to commit those horrific crimes. So there's an admission here by the Secretary of State that the violence committed in the occupied West Bank is committed by settlers, illegal, by Israeli settlers. Rubio says expects Israel to act on settler violence. And this one here is from the New Jewish Narrative. The EU, European Union, is stepping up pressure on settler violence. The EU is not saying here that the settler violence the violence being committed against the Palestinians in the occupied West Bank is perpetrated by thugs, by kids or children who are not from the settler communities. So, in other words, there's an admission here by the EU, there's an acknowledgement here by the EU that the violence committed in the West Bank is perpetrated, carried out by settlers, by individuals from the Israeli settler communities in the occupied West Bank. And this one here from independent Catholic news, U.S. Franciscan leaders. Franciscans are Catholics. U.S. Franciscan leaders urge Secretary of State to help stop attacks on Holy Land Christians. So um, this is because the violence committed by the violent illegal illegal Israeli settlers in the West Bank is committed not just against Muslim Palestinians, but also against Christians, and not just Christians in the West Bank, but also against Christians in East Jerusalem. 12 provincial ministers, representing the vast majority of male U.S. Franciscan religious, have made a direct appeal to Secretary of State Marco Rubio and to Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee. Ambassador Mike Huckabee is that foolish ambassador who made the preposterous claim that without Israel, the U.S. would not exist. Wow. The last time I checked, Israel was created only in 1948, created by the Western powers, specifically by the British Empire. Only in 1948, created as a colonial power, colonial project, created as a colonial project. Now, the last time I checked, the U.S. has been there, has been existing since 1776. The U.S. is a 250-year-old state. The Zionist entity, this Zionist entity called Israel, began existing only in 1948. So there has been a long time that the U.S. has been existing while Israel was not yet existing. So it is such a preposterous, ridiculous statement or claim that the U.S. wouldn't exist without Israel. Have made a direct appeal to Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee to help stop the rising violence against Christians and other Palestinians in the Holy Land. You see, the Israeli violence or the settler violence is not just against Muslims or Muslim Palestinians, but also against Christians, both in the West Bank and in East Jerusalem. Uh, to help the to help stop the rising violence against Christians and other Palestinians in the Holy Land. In their appeal, dated June 16, 2026, the leaders specifically request that Mr. Rubio use all diplomatic leverage to persuade the Israeli government to stop policies that empower, protect, and provide impunity for radical Israelis. Do you think Rubio has done something concrete so that the Israeli regime would address the problem? No, 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 no. And this one is from the United Nations. Palestine killings, destruction, and settler encroachment continues. Unprecedented settlement expansion. Regarding the West Bank, he said that the UN guy said that the rate of forcible displacement is unseen in decades, describing Israeli settlement expansion there as unprecedented. Israeli military and police forces and settlers are killing more and more Palestinians with impunity, often together. So most of the time, they are together. The settlers and their backup, either the IDF or border police or police forces. He added, since the October 7 attacks, they have killed 1,096 Palestinians, with children making up around 20%, or 1 in 5. Settler attacks are routinely carried out with the support, acquiescence, or participation of Israeli security forces. So this is in the West Bank. The Israeli government, they have killed 1,096 Palestinians since October 7. The Israeli government has intensified the militarization of the settler movement, shielded them from accountability. That's why when the cases are brought to the courts against the violent, criminal, illegal Israeli settlers, their cases are not their cases do not prosper. They're not brought to account. They're not made to answer for their crimes, not because they are young, because most of them are not young, but because the Zionist regime, the Israeli regime, the Israeli government gives them legal protection, and now actively benefits from settler violence as a catalyst for its stated annexation agenda. And this guy here, is one of the violent, criminal, illegal Israeli settlers committing settler violence against the Palestinians in the West Bank. He is probably the most handsome of all the illegal Israeli settlers. So the next time the Israeli prime minister would tell lies, should do better at telling lies, because when he tells lies, his lies are very obvious, or it is very obvious that he is telling lies.